Steve.
I know, I'm just joking.
So what we're going to do is we're going to ask you 7 questions.
Okay.
And then you've been through this, you didn't do it last year, right?
No,
Okay.
I didn't.
So we'll go through 7 questions, you can answer, and then we'll score you, and then we're going to deliberate after all 4 candidates.
Okay.
Okay? So the first question is what is the role of the Board of Education? What are the responsibilities of its members?
Okay. So my perception of the Board of Education would be a multitude of situations where you're responsible for voting on budgetary and finance issues. You know, sometimes disciplinary issues on the board. Any type of child study team, special education issues, and making decisions on curriculum, things like that. So that's my perception.
Okay. Question 2 is how do you believe the Board of Education can impact student achievement?
I think that the decisions that you make empower the students, you know, whether it be after school activities, whether it be safety in the school system. I've seen like a couple of different nuances within the school that I felt that needed a little extra piece. So I don't know if you're familiar with a program that I started, Parents Helping Parents, where I felt that there was a need for more college education for parents who maybe felt uncomfortable with coming to the guidance department or the administration itself. So I organized a successful group of having parents come in, learn a little bit more about the FAFSA, learning a little bit more about scholarships and things like that. It was very, very successful, very well attended. I worked in conjunction with the guidance department and found that there was like a little niche there where parents came and they felt more comfortable speaking with other parents and learning from other parents. And I think those type of situations are very helpful and things that you can vote on to empower the students and you know, budgetary wise, it's not a big impact there, but I saw a lot of success with that. As a matter of fact, I've had a lot of phone calls that have asked me, am I coming back in? So, you know, I think that the Board of Education, you know, just has so much power over what goes on with different aspects of voting in different programs and things like that, and I think that's key. You know, I spend a lot of time, I hope I'm not talking too long, but I spend a lot of time, I'm basically the welcome center of Vernon. So the first person that they touch is me with my occupation. So what happens is a lot of times they'll talk about schools first, and they'll talk about the Board of Education and what some of the programs that you're working on, and what are you voting in, what are you voting out, what are the budgetary cuts that are happening. And I'm like the concierge to that. So I think that me being a part of the Board of Education kind of gives a diversity to your board that I think is pinnacle, because I do believe that with, you know, knowing what the taxpayer is looking for, what the new buyer coming in is looking for. Are they picking Vernon because of our school system? And real estate and education and the school system really are kind of connected. And I don't know if you feel that way, but it really is. So I want to increase enrollment, and I think that that's an important key button, you know, for the Board of Education.
Great. Number 3, how do you balance the reality of limited resources and the vision of the district for high student achievement?
Can you just say that again?
Sure. How will you balance the reality of limited resources and the vision of the district for high student achievement?
Okay. So the budget itself with programs, I'm very big into volunteerism, and I think that sometimes, yes, we have to make these cuts, and it's just a reality. But I think that if we get volunteerism and I think that people want to empower these students. So I think that if we can encourage that within our community, and the Board of Ed can possibly set aside, like, you know, some financing for volunteerism groups and things like that, I think that that would be helpful, and I think that that would answer that.
What are some of the district's most prominent successes and achievements?
I think one of the most prominent was when we had the college classes within the curriculum, and where we got college credits for that. I think that that was huge. I know that my daughter took in that and participated in that, and it helped her realize that she wanted to be a teacher. I think that that was our shining moment. I really believe that.
What are the most important issues and or challenges our school district is currently facing?
I think, you know, I think it's sometimes parent participation. I think that that's hard, and I think that there's a lot of reasoning behind that. I think that our children are, you know, sometimes because of having parents be out for work or what have you, I think that they have a hard time with their children's education. So I think that, you know, the programs that we can put out there as a Board of Education and different things like that, I think that is probably our hardest, you know, challenge. And I would really love to be a part of that, and that's why my group with the Parents Helping Parents really brought out some of those parents that said to me, I have fear about talking to a teacher, I have fear about talking to a guidance counselor, I want to feel comforted, I want to feel like, you know, I'm not making mistakes as a parent. And I think that that's really important, and I want to be that person that people can come to and say, you know, can you help me? I'm having difficulty with my child. I'm having a hard time understanding what's going on. You know, I think that we as a board can be part of that, and I would like to spearhead that. That is one of the reasons that I want to be on the Board of Education, because I just. You know, I had 3 children that went through the school system, and they all had very different experiences. And I know my oldest had a very, very difficult time, very challenging, and I worked hard with the principal and guidance counselors. And I know how hard it is to be that parent. I know sometimes how challenging it is to feel like you're, you know, failing as a parent, and you don't want to express that because you want to seem like you're the most successful parent there is. I just feel like if we can touch more people and we can empower those parents, we'll see a big difference with the children. And that's really my mantra, and that's what I'm here for.
Okay. Next one's a little long one. So.
Oh, okay.
An average month for a school board member includes several scheduled meetings and various school or community-related activities. In addition, there is daily mail correspondence, email correspondence, required reading, and district updates. How do you fit this into your schedule, and how many board meetings have you attended in the last 2 years?
Okay. I have an enormous amount of energy. I'm a very, very hyper person. I live right here in town. I can be at anything that you need me to be at any moment. So I'm right here in town. Like I said, for 20 years I've been in that school. I've been, you know, participating the entire day through, and I miss that. You know, I'm an empty nester now. My kids are in college, and I miss that. And the only way to still feel that energy of that is to be on the board. So that's why I'm here. And to answer your question, I've been to just about every other, you know, board meeting. I've spoken as a realtor to try to help you with that aspect. And like I said, that speaking as a realtor to talk to you about enrollment and things like that, that's what I bring to the table. I think that I look across your room here and I see all different dynamics, and I think that I'm like the little bit of diversity that you don't have. So I would say that I'm not the cookie cutter candidate, but I think that I add a lot, and I think that I have an enormous amount of energy, and I have the time. Like I said, I work very hard. I work 7 days a week, but I have to keep busy because otherwise I, go a little wacky. So.
Okay. And the last one is just a yes or no answer.
Okay.
Do you have a family member who is currently an employee in the Vernon Township School District?
No, I do not. And that was, I think the great thing about me as a candidate is that now I don't have anybody in the school system. My children are all gone and graduated. And so I'm not conflicted at all. So I would be able to vote on anything that came up. And I just want to put one more piece in about my financial background. I'm a realtor in my office, but I'm also the manager of the office. So I do all the P&Ls, I do all the budgetary, and finances of the office. I've done that for 8 years now in that office. Very successful, very profitable. So I'm very familiar with the finance aspect of it as well.
Great. Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Now, does she leave or
Yeah.
does she stay?
We have, you can
You
stay.
stay. Yeah, so you
Oh,
can take a
see,
seat.
that's good. That's good. I'm glad I never went.
The next candidate will be who?
Joe.
Okay.
Joe Sweeney.
Thanks, Kelly. Right up to the
Good
podium,
evening.
sir.
At the podium?
Yep. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good. So we will present you with 7 questions for you to answer.
You don't want resumes or CVs or anything? I'm kidding.
Just so you know, too, we are bringing the people in as they apply to Steve, so you were the second one came in. Question number 1. What is the role of the Board of Education? What are the responsibilities of its members?
Okay. The role of the Board of Education is to make sure that the schools are run properly, run efficiently. The role is to govern the schools, not to actually run the schools. The role is to see that they're run right, and not to run them.
Number 2.
And the second part of that question?
What's the responsibilities of its members, which is basically the role of the Board of Education?
Represent the taxpayers who vote us in.
Number 2, how do you believe the Board of Education can impact student achievement?
By making sure that the policies and procedures that are implemented are relevant and clear and are appropriate to achieving good members contributing to society.
Okay. Number 3, how will you balance the reality of limited resources and the vision of the district for high student achievement?
Well, that's why we have experts. We have experts like Steve Kepnes and the superintendent, Karen DeVino, to help us do that. There's always a balance. You balance things at home, you balance things at work, balance things on the board. It's a matter of what's the priority for this year. Maybe it's not a priority next year, or was it last year? So I think it's setting your priorities and trying to achieve those priorities.
What are some of the district's most prominent successes and achievements?
I think the students are prominent successes and achievements. My wife and I had 6 children go through the school system, and I just remember one incident. It's going to be brief. My daughter, who was maybe in the top 25% of her class, and a friend of hers graduated from 8th grade. She went to Vernon, he went to Pope John. They came back together again at the college that they attended to, and they both had to take an entrance test for math to see where they would be placed. And my daughter tested out, and he had to go to the precursor class. And I just thought he was a top 25% too. He was a good student. He was from Vernon. I think it was a credit to our math program at the time, our math teachers, and I just thought, I was so proud of our schools that, you know, I'm so proud that, I mean, I was proud of her, of course, but I attributed that to our schools. It just made a day.
What are the most important issues and challenges our school district is currently facing?
Well, I think the most important right now is transitioning the new superintendent and making sure that she gets up and running. And besides that, I believe continuing the communications to as many of the town people, the stakeholders that we can. My neighborhood has about 6 homes in it. 2 of those homes receive or have a direct relationship with the schools. The other 4 do not. And it's up to them to get the info, go online to look at, you know, the website, which has a wealth of information. But I don't think that they do. Maybe around election time. And that's only because they receive, you know, voter information in the mail and, you know, vote for me paraphernalia. But I think it's incumbent upon us to market ourselves and to show the town how good we are. Well, we have wonderful teachers, we have wonderful administrators. We have to show the town people that we have these people. We have excellent credentials. People are doctors, lawyers, all over the place. We have quite a system here.
On an average month for a school board member includes several scheduled meetings and various school or community-related activities. In addition, there is daily email correspondence, required reading, and district updates. How do you fit this into your schedule? How many BOE meetings have you attended in the last 2 years?
Several, although not really several. Several is probably less than 2. No, 2. I've watched many online from the pleasure of my recliner. So, and my wife and I are able to hash things out. We don't make fun of anybody, I swear. But we usually watch them at home. So I've attended 2 or 3.
And is there any issues with getting in your schedule to fit the other stuff?
One of the reasons why I am expressed an interest in the board is that my role at work has changed dramatically. And I have the free time. And when I was last on the board, I left because my role was changing, where I didn't have the free time. I did a lot of traveling, and that has changed. So, and I'm aware of what kind of time commitment.
Right.
And the hourly rate for this commitment is not that good, is it?
We'll get you a cup of coffee once in a while.
As I recall, it wasn't that good.
Do you have a family member who is currently an employee in Vernon Township?
Yes, I do. We all know. My wife is a kindergarten teacher. Her name is Maureen Sweeney.
Okay. That is it.
That's it?
That's it.
That's quick.
Okay. Next candidate.
Thanks, Joe.
Is there anything else I should say, or? Okay.
We're judging everybody on the same questions.
The same questions, okay.
Who's going to be the next?
Thank you.
Zoe.
Matt, you're not going to live stream this, right?
No,
Okay, we're just going to.
I'm gonna double record it and then I'll
Okay.
splice them together.
Good. Okay. Thank you. Right up at the podium, Zoe.
Sorry?
Right up at the podium.
Oh,
Okay. Just so you know, we're bringing people in the order they applied to Steve, so we're getting done. We are going to ask you 7 questions for you to respond to. The first question is, what is the role of the Board of Education and what are the responsibilities of its members?
to me, the role of the Board of Education is to lead the district both financially and, I don't want to say morally, but morally. The Board of Education, to me, makes decisions that impact not just the students in the district, they impact the taxpayers, they impact the parents, they impact the teachers who live out of district. The responsibilities of the board members are to uphold Vernon's moral code, to be kind to others, to be there when we need someone. Like the Vernon Board of Education and the Vernon schools were here when my friend Vinnie Ventriglia was diagnosed with cancer, and like Vernon comes together when that needs to be, and that's what this Board of Education can do.
Number 2, how do you believe the Board of Education can impact student achievement?
Well, I know this directly. The Board of Education can impact student achievement by aiming their students for success. They can know that we're more than just, not we, I shouldn't say we anymore. They can know that students are more than just a test score. They can know that students have extracurriculars that give them confidence and passion and tenacity. And when Board of Education members go to these events, they show that that community cares about them and wants them to succeed. The Board of Education also knows that funding those programs like sports and extracurriculars and plays and all the good stuff that makes our students great, funding that is one of the most important things.
How will you balance the reality of limited resources and the vision of the district for high student achievement?
That's a loaded question. I think that Vernon is facing a lot of troublesome areas with their financial situation with all the cuts that have been happening. But I also think that Vernon always comes out up top. We've been applying for grants. We've been getting things that for free, like the Garden State Equality Grant that we just got for the LGBTQ students. But I also think that Vernon is resourceful. And this Board of Education knows exactly what resourcefulness means. And they know that when we need something, we'll get it.
What are some of the district's most prominent successes and achievements?
I think the district's most successful things really are its programs for students. The CTE programs, the theater programs, the band programs, and of course our teachers and our education are incredibly, incredibly important, but I think that those extracurriculars that lift students' confidence and experiences and help them grow as worldly people are something Vernon should be proud of. With the Cosmo program and the construction and facilities management, like those are things that students need in the real world, and Vernon is giving them that.
Okay. Number 5, what are the most important issues, challenges facing our district currently?
I think that Vernon is facing, like we said before, financially we're facing a lot of issues with all of the cuts that have been brought to our district. I also think that we're currently facing low enrollment, which is difficult. We did just have to close a school. But I also think that those challenges are something that Vernon can easily overcome, as we have in the past.
Number 6, on an average month for a school board member includes several scheduled meetings and various school or community-related activities. In addition, there are daily email correspondence, required reading, and district updates. How will you fit this into your schedule, and how many BOE meetings have you attended in the last 2 years? You don't have to give us a number on the second one.
I work with children currently. I'm starting at another daycare in Newton, so emails are difficult for me, but in the evenings I'm completely free, which is why I knew I would be able to fulfill the position of coming to meetings and, corresponding to emails. Maybe not immediately, but I can do reading, of course. And as you know, I have come to most of all the board meetings since May of 2017.
I can vouch for that.
Huh?
I can vouch for that. The last question is just yes or no answer. Do you have a family member who is currently an employee of the Vernon Township School District?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the last one, right?
Frank Pietrowski. Frank?
Frank, right up at the podium. Just to let you know, we brought everybody in the order that they applied to Steve. So
Yeah, absolutely.
we're going to ask you 7 questions for you to respond to.
Okay.
Everybody received the same 7 questions. What is the role of the Board of Education, and what are the responsibilities of its members?
think the role, in my opinion, the role of Board of Education is to fulfill the needs of the students as best as possible by making concise decisions financially as well as several other aspects related to education. I would also feel that, giving back to the community and trying to make it a place where people want to go to school, essentially.
Number 2, how do you believe the Board of Education can impact student achievement?
Multitude of reasons. A, from something as simple as preparing them for college, not to mention just guiding them in the best way possible to make good life decisions. It's endless. I could go on and on forever. I have a 7-month-old who essentially will be going to the Vernon schools, and I think it's the best interest of the board to guide these students and kids in a manner that will better them in life further down the road.
Number 3, how will you balance the reality of limited resources and the vision of the district for high student achievement?
Well, I deal with that every day as a buildings and grounds director. Balancing financials and doing it responsibly, especially with the budgets. They've been cutting like crazy. So you try to be fiscally responsible as much as possible. But there's certain things you can't skimp on, and that's in education and providing the best education possible for the students.
Number 4, what are some of the district's most prominent successes and achievements?
It's been a while since I've been up here. I graduated in 01. I really can't tell you firsthand because I don't have a kid in the school district yet. Some of the achievements. Just from looking at some of the buildings from the outside and passing by them, I've noticed a huge, significant, I'll say in a positive manner, the way the buildings look from the outside. And that, first impressions, as anybody knows, are a huge impact on someone from the outside and how they view the schools. So that's probably as much as far as I could honestly speak in that aspect.
What are the most important challenges our school district is currently facing?
Financials is A. Financials, you have a whole new, I wouldn't say new, but you have kids with special needs now, and it's obviously becoming more prominent. My wife's a pre-K special ed teacher. I see it firsthand. I hear it firsthand from her every night. The schools have changed completely. I said from special needs, special ed students, even to the general population. A lot has changed since I've graduated, and even that, 2001, I graduated high school, and that's not far removed. So it's amazing how much actually has transpired in the past 15, 16 years.
On an average month for a school board member includes several scheduled meetings and various school or community-related activities. In addition, there are daily email correspondence, required reading, and district updates. How will you fit this into your schedule? And how many BOE meetings have you attended in the last 2 years?
I attend every Board of Ed meeting for my district at Sussex Wantage. I have not attended a Vernon Board of Ed meeting yet. This would be my first. Thank you for having me. So yeah, I'd fit it into my schedule. I'm busy and I like being busy. That's who I am. I don't stop. I'll doing emails for my work until 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night every night. I'm always available by phone. I got 2 cell phones. I'm always available, so I know I could do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
And the last one is just a simple yes or no answer. Do you have a family member who is currently an employee in the Vernon Township School District?
No.
And that is all. Thank you very much. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into closed session to deliberate, and then when we come out, we will have some discussion as to who was our first and second place vote-getters, and then have a report. So can I have we will come out of closed hopefully very close to 7 o'clock, I hope. We're gonna discuss the deliberation of the vacancies and any other item, no other items, right? Do we have any other items in closed?
Yeah. There's another closed session.
Okay, we'll come back out at 7 and then go in closed, okay? So can I have a motion to go into closed? Mr. Dwyer, second.
Second.
Ms. McGee, questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
We're in closed. You guys can sit here, we're gonna go in there. Bring your scoring sheets.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Yep.